recording this. So the first polynomial goes inside the division box, and then the expression outside is the second one. So just like before, I have to figure out what am I going to multiply 4x by to make it become 8x squared. So I know I could multiply it by a 2x to make it become 8x. All I'm worried about right now, even though there's two terms outside, is trying to make an 8x squared. So I know, and then when I go to put what I'm going to multiply by, I don't put it on top of the 8. I'm going to put it on top of the 6x. So I know I could multiply 4x by 2x, and 2x times 4x gives me the 8x squared I was trying to make. Now, not only does this 2x multiply to the 4, it's also going to multiply to the 1. You have to distribute to both. Then I multiply it. Now I'm going to flip the signs or change them to opposite of what they are. Because remember, I'm subtracting here. So this is a positive 8, I'm going to make it negative, and this is a positive 2x, I'm going to make it negative. Now I add my like terms. Notice 8x squared minus 8x squared is gone. That was my goal, to get it to subtract evenly. But then 6x minus 2x is going to give me 4x. I'm going to bring down my next term, plus 3, and now I repeat it again. What am I going to multiply 4x by to make it become 4x? And that's going to be 1. So I put plus 1 at the top, and now I distribute 1 to the 4x and 1 to the 1. So this just becomes 4x plus 1. Again, remember, you're going to flip the signs, make this negative, make this negative. This will cancel, and 3 minus 1 is now going to be 2. And again, remember, there's nothing else to bring down. So again, we're going to treat this like a mixed number. So I take my remainder, and it's going to go on top of the 4x plus 1. And if this is positive, you put a plus sign in front. If it were negative, it would be a subtraction. So the final answer here is going to be 2x plus 1 plus 2 over 4x plus 1. Now, back in 3rd grade, when you did this simple problem that we did here, you were taught that the way to check your answer would be to take the divisor and the quotient and multiply them and then add back the remainder. And this is how you can check your answer. So for example, I could do 41 times 23, multiply this out, and I get 943. Remember, I had a remainder of 6. When I add it back, notice it gave me the number in the division box, my dividend. So this is how, oops, this should be a 9. This is how you could check to see if you've done the division correctly. So on this particular problem that I just did, we could FOIL 4x plus 1, 2x plus 1. So the answer you got with the divisor, you could multiply those, and then you would add back the remainder. So if I FOIL this, I get first is 8x squared, outside is 4x, inside is 2x, and last is 1. Group the middles, 8x squared plus 6x plus 1. And then remember, you had a remainder of 2, so add 2 to the very last number, the constant, and your final answer here is what's underneath or in your division box. So we did it correctly. So you will write your long division answers like this, where you're going to take what's on top of the division box, write that as your expression or your polynomial, and then you would write the remainder over the divisor, which is what's outside the division box. So if you notice here in the textbook, they're telling you how to write your answers and how to check. So right here, you're going to write your quotient, which is on top of the division box, and then the remainder goes over the divisor. And then to check, we would multiply the two and then add back the remainder. So this is how you can check your answers. Let's try another example. Once you do a few practice problems, it'll become automatic. You'll get the hang of it. Now, remember, we need to put whatever's going in our division box or everything, we need to put it in order, in decreasing order, in standard form. So the biggest exponent first, all the way down to the constant. So notice, when it's written as a fraction, remember the fraction bar is the division sign. So what I need to do here is divide, and the first thing I'm going to do though is rearrange this numerator. I want it from greatest exponent down to the constant. So from greatest to least. So I'm going to put the 15x squared plus 34x minus 16. The denominator is already ready to go, and this is my divisor. It's what's going outside the division box. So let me go ahead and set it up, because again, you're either going to get your problems on your test either in a fraction form or like the first example I showed you. It will not be set up for you all nice and pretty in the division box. You will have to set that up yourself. So here we go. I now can get ready here to divide. And again, I'm trying to figure out what am I going to multiply 5x by to make it become 15x squared. And I know I can multiply that by 3x because I still need another x, and 5 times 3 is 15. So again, you'll write that on top of the second number, not the first one. And now I'm going to distribute 3x to the 5x and to the negative 2. So when I multiply that, I get 15x squared minus 6x. Again, we're going to change the signs to opposite. This was positive, it now becomes negative. This is negative, it now becomes positive. Now I can add up my like terms here. So this would cancel, and then 64 plus 6 is going to give me 40. 40x. I now bring down, and this is a negative 16 that I'm bringing down. And now I have to look and see, what am I going to multiply 5x by to make it become 40x? And that's going to be positive 8. Again, the positive 8 distributes to the 5x and to the negative 2. So this will become 40x minus 16. Again, you're going to change the signs here to opposite. And notice on this problem, I get a remainder of 0. So my only answer here, or the only thing I need to list as my answer, is the 3x plus 8. No remainder. You don't have to show 0 over 5x minus 2. So again, you could factor or FOIL the 3x plus 8 and the 5x minus 2. If it does not give you what's inside that division box, you know you've made a mistake. Now, the next thing we have to take into consideration is when we do long division, we have to represent every single letter and every single exponent. So there can't be any holes or any gaps. So notice on my next example, notice it goes from an a to the third power and a constant. I need to, in my division box, hold in places with 0 coefficients. So I need to do like a countdown. So I need to represent, if my biggest one is a to the third, I also need to hold a place for the a squared, for the a, and then I had my constant. So when I hold the places with these letters and exponents that aren't there, these two, I'm going to put a 0 in front. And they're like placeholders. So when I go to set up my division problem, I'm going to put the denominator outside. The numerator is going to be what's in the division box. So I'm going to put 2a to the third. I don't have an a squared, but I got to hold a place for it. I don't have an a term. I got to hold the place. And then lastly, just the 5 that's there. So it's like a countdown, like if a rocket's blasting off. 3, 2, 1, and then the constant. You have to represent every term to make it nice and easy when you go to subtract. So again, now that I've set it up and filled in with the 0 coefficients for any missing terms, now I can divide. So I need to figure out what am I going to multiply a by to make it 2a to the third power. And that's going to be 2a squared. And again, I'm going to write it on top of that term. All right, so I now need to distribute the 2a squared to both the a and the negative 3. So when I do that, I get 2a to the third minus 6a squared. And again, we need to change the signs. Make this negative, make this positive. This will cancel. And now 0 plus 6 gives me 6a squared. I now need to bring down my next term. And even though it's a 0, you're bringing it down. And now I have to figure out what am I going to multiply 6a squared by, or a by, to make it 6a squared. And that's going to be 6a. And now I distribute the 6a to the a and to the negative 3. So this becomes 6a squared minus 18a. I now need to change the signs to opposite, and then I will add the terms. Okay, so now I'm going to add this up straight down. That cancels. This becomes 18a, because 0 plus 18a is 18a. Bring down the next term. What am I going to multiply 18a a by? What am I going to multiply a by to make it 18a? And that's going to be 18. And again, you're going to write it at the top. Distribute it to both. And then this gives me 18 times negative 3 is negative 54. Again, flip the signs to opposite. This cancels. And 5 plus 54 is 59. So now, final answer here, take the remainder. It's positive, so I put a plus sign. And then it's 59 over a minus 3. So you need to remember to hold the places for these terms. Let me try another one. Again, we're spending 2 days on this, so you can do a lot of practice, so this will become automatic. So let me try another one from the, maybe from the oral exercises. Again, with filling in the gaps. Let me try number 2 from the oral exercises. In number 2 from the oral exercises says x to the third plus 8 over x plus 2. So again, what's in the denominator is what goes outside the division box. I need to have this in standard form from the largest exponent down to a countdown. So I need to hold a place for the x squared, for the x, and then lastly the constant. So now again, I begin my process. What am I going to multiply x by to make it x cubed? And that's going to be x squared. Remember, you distribute it to both. So x squared times the x times the 2 gives me 2x squared. Change the signs to opposite. This cancels. I'm left with negative 2x squared. Bring down the next term, even though it's a 0. What are you going to multiply x by to make it negative 2x squared? And that's going to be negative 2x. Then the next thing I'm going to do is distribute. Negative 2x squared minus 4x. Flip the signs to opposite. This becomes 4x. Bring down the last term. What are you going to multiply x by to make it 4x? That will be 4. Distribute. Flip the signs to opposite. Remainder 0. Final answer, x squared minus 2x plus 4. So again, a lot of practice of this will help. Let's try, see what we have here. Do that. Okay, so homework tonight is 2 through 30 even. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, is going to be 1 through 29 odd. And then you do have a test on Thursday. And that's it.